In 1998, D3 Publisher decided to make a budget line for the PlayStation 1. The games were simple and sold for 1,500 yen, thus the name, the Simple 1500 series. Over the course of the PlayStation 1 and 2, D3 would put out about 300 games in the series. Some would be simple games, and some would be re-releases of other titles, spanning just about every genre, from board games to racing games, and a lot of visual novels. Most were unremarkable to bad, but some known commodities like the Onichimbara series and the Earth Defense Force series came from this. The series is pretty underdocumented online too, so I'm going to attempt to explore the entire series and not lose my sanity in the process. This is a simple series about the simple series. Volumes 1 through 6, 9, 11, 12, and 14 through 16 are all very basic and require very little explanation, so we'll just start off by lightning rounding them. We have Mahjong, Shogi, Gomaku no Rabe, which is Connect 5, Reversi, aka Othello, aka The Bane of My Existence, Go, Hanafuda, which didn't want to boot for some reason, Mood, Chess, Pinball with 2 tables, ooh, fancy, a trivia game that can't really play because I don't speak Japanese, but inexplicably got 7 out of 20 on, Breakout, Pachinko, and slot machines. The only real thing of note here is that chess managed to sneak its way into Europe as Checkmate. Volume 7, The Card, is the first one that needs a little explanation, but still isn't terribly interesting. It has 3 different games, Blackjack and 2 games I'm not really familiar with, but somehow won? I'm just gonna leave some raw gameplay here, and hopefully somebody can tell me what these games are. Look, I'm not some cardologist. If it's not poker, blackjack, war, 52 card pickup, or solitaire, I'm kinda clueless.
Drop.
Raise.
Call.
Drop. Ante.
Pass. Pass.
Pass. Pass.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass. Pass. Pass.
Pass.
Pass. Pass.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass.
Pass. Pass. Pass.
Speaking of solitaire, here's number 8, The Solitaire. But it's not the card game, it's like Chinese checkers. Your goal is to jump all the marbles until they're gone. There are 6 types. 3 normal single-player boards, and then this weird one where eggs hatch into lizards and walk until they bump into another egg and then re-eggify. Video games. 2 multiplayer boards, one which is about controlling the center of the board, and the other where the players take turns simultaneously. I don't know what's stranger, the solitaire having multiplayer, or the normal Chinese checkers not being part of the ball jumping thing. I'm probably completely wrong, and this isn't Chinese checkers, and I'm just a moron that doesn't know table games. Number 10, The Billiard, which also got localized in the United States as Billiards. And you probably know the deal here. Boop the white cue ball into the other balls until all the balls except for the cue ball fall into the hole. So what's so special about it that warrants any type of comment? Well, it's the first one that doesn't look like it was thrown together in a weekend. Not only is it the first simple series game to be in 3D, but it actually kind of has an atmosphere. There's a smooth, jazzy soundtrack with 3 different rooms you can pick from. But wait, there's more. You can also pick a rival player to play against. Unfortunately, all they really have is 1 or 2 sentences for an intro and a end quote. Yeah, they don't exactly ooze personality. I think it's also a discrete difficulty selector. I only played 2 games, and the girl 4th on the list beat me easily, and I beat the guy 1st on the list pretty easily, and he had a "go easy on me" type of quote when I picked him. Outside of the presentation, the game was also strikingly content-rich, offering 6 normal game types for single and multiplayer, and a trick shot mode. It also looked like it had unlockable rivals, but I didn't play far enough to find out. It also plays pretty well with consistent physics and collision that's actually accurate with the ball trajectory. I think the first 9 games on the list really lowered my expectations, because this is like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I'm kind of gushing here. Anyway, I did some digging on the game and its developer, Argent, and I found out the reason why this game is so polished is likely because this was their 3rd Billiards game on the PlayStation. They would then go on to make a 4th, which is the later Simple series, Volume 50, The Billiards 2. The Payback. On to Volume 13, The Race, which made its way to America as Racing. I might have become a Kusoge inoculated enough to say that this game is, palatable. We start off the game with 1 car, 2 tracks, and 2 handling models aptly named Grip and Drift. Win a race at both tracks, get a 2nd car. Do it again with the 2nd car, get the 3rd car. Do it again with the 3rd car, you get the 3rd track, which is the 2nd track, but mirrored. And that's all the content. And there's no multiplayer either. Okay, so there's no content. But there's no content in Ridge Racer. Well, what about the content on hand? Well, the overall physics are kinda jank, but not really, like, offensive. The collision physics in particular are really soft. Bonking off the walls doesn't really mean much, and collisions with other cars visually just don't seem right. Like their collision boxes are deep inside the models. As for the cars, the first car is breezy in both handling models, but has a low top speed that it hits often, but the top speed lets off this really awful buzzing exhaust note. The medium car is totally fine in grip mode, but is a total oversteer monster in drift mode. And the 3rd car is always bad because the tracks were clearly not designed for its speed and its brakes are really weak. On that note, the tracks exist. The short track is a nice beginner level and the longer track has some sharp hairpins and a tight tunnel section, but it's not too harsh. Neither really leaves much of an impression. The one actual decent thing about the game is its soundtrack. Game as a whole is not good, but inoffensive. But you want to know what is offensive? Volume 17, The Bike Race. You know when you touch a game for like 15 seconds and just nope out, not having it? Awful. The turn radius is super wide unless you slow way down. And braking takes forever and everything is super bouncy. Like, I get it, it's a dirt bike game, but jeez, it's real bad. Real bad. It's also an audio hellscape. You should skip this. Okay, no more spinning wheels. Here's spinning balls. Bowling balls. Roll with it. Here's Volume 18, The Bowling. Or Bowling in America. Why did this game dodge the lightning round, you ask? Well, its controls are kind of goofy. Usually in bowling video games, you line up your throw point and angle, and then the power is adjusted on your approach. Here you do the aiming and power before your approach, and during the approach you have a timing minigame to determine the accuracy. It's an interesting quirk, but The game really suffers from it because there is a lot of input latency on that timer. The other notable thing about it is it has a 45 pin mode, which is, it's silly. Next up, a board game. Volume 19, the Sugoroku. I don't sprechen Nihongo, so gomenasai my pronunciation. Okay, jokes aside, this is the first time this issue's cropped up. Look at all this text. Fortunately, the game's pretty simple. You go around the board collecting points until someone gets to the end, and whoever has the most points when the first player hits the finish line wins, with the first player to cross the finish line getting a big point bonus. Along the way, there are warps, happening spaces, minigame spaces. I think it's a little too simple for its own good. There's really not much of a reason to pick it over, I don't know, Mario Party. I think it would be a good candidate for a fan translation, though, because I feel like I just missed out on a lot of the game just because I don't speak Japanese. And finally for this video, we end on Volume 20, The Puzzle, aka Pastel Muses. Been out here panning for gold in this river of obscurity and finally got some flakes. Pastel Muses is basically just puzzle bobble tilted 90 degrees with gravity affecting things. Shoot colored balls, match 3 of them to clear them from play, and try to get combos. This is also the first time a Simple Series game has been a reissue of another game, with its original release being in 1997 and the Simple version coming out in 1999. Again, it's just puzzle bobble with wackier art. But look at this opening FMV. Magnificent as a seahorse. So, that's the first 20 games in the Simple 1500 series. Figured if I did the first 10, it could constitute as cruel and unusual punishment. Look, I'm not gonna go all, look at all this crap. I'm Gamerman, circa 2007. Most of these games were released for a utilitarian reason. They were meant to be like those 50 games on one disc your grandma had for her PC back in the day that's still sitting on the bookshelf with all the VHSs. They were meant for Takeshi's salaryman to pick up on a whim on his beer run, the one night out of the month when he has the house to himself, and there's no baseball on TV, and he's too tired to go to the company mahjong meetup because he knows Honda from accounting is there, and Honda plays for keeps. Look, I knew it would be slim pickings early on, but looking down the list of the next 10, there's no table games. Yay. I know there's at least one actual winner in the next group. So, if you made it this far in this one, maybe you'll make it this far in the next one. If it exists. Which it might not, because, boy am I lazy. Like this outro. Bye-bye.